Comedian FunnyMaine ready for another great weekend of college football. Now, my favorite team is on a bye week, but that don't mean I won't be glued in to some of these great games and these matchups that are going on this weekend. Hey, the playoff picture, the conference championships picture is starting to clear up a little bit, and I'll be tuned in. Comedian FunnyMaine, I'm just a fan, not an analyst. Fanalyst on right now. Turn it all the way up. Underrated team to watch out for. I don't know if you can call Boise State underrated. They've been good for over 2 decades now. Everybody knows about the blue turf. They've had some big wins. They got a Heisman finalist in Genty probably this year if he can stay healthy. At the time of this video, they're up big over San Diego State at the half. They took Oregon to the wire, so I like watching Boise State. Not underrated, but probably undervalued. Is Army going to win, or will they lose like Navy did? Listen, Army is going up against the Air Force tomorrow, who I think is like 1-6 right now. Hey, my dad was a member of the Air Force, but I'm going with Army big in this one. Pitt at Southern Methodist. Well, first of all, I haven't seen anybody spell out SMU's full name in a long time, so that's refreshing. But is the winner a legitimate playoff team? Absolutely. Pitt is undefeated. SMU only one loss. Now, SMU is in the AAC. Pitt is in the ACC, a Power 5 conference, but I think the winner is definitely in a good position to start thinking about one of those 12 playoff spots. Lane Kiffin on the hot seat with a lost argument. Who? Absolutely not. There's a lot of intangibles that you get when you hire Lane Kiffin, okay? There's the energy around the program. They're selling out games. They're selling merch. They're must-see TV on the weekends, on the big networks. He's got 10-win seasons, made it to New Year's 6 bowls. Ole Miss is a contender every year. No, they haven't got to Atlanta. They haven't gotten to the playoffs. But you just can't replace a coach like Lane Kiffin and all the intangibles and the attention that he has brought to Ole Miss. So, no. South Carolina or A&M, it's clearly a Gamecock fan that's talking about Willie B. That's Williams-Brice Stadium in South Carolina. It's going to be tough. South Carolina, much like Alabama, will the real Gamecocks please just show up and be consistent? One week you're getting blew out by Ole Miss, and then the other weeks you're taking LSU and Alabama to the wire. I know they're a talented, dangerous team, but I don't know who's going to show up. But I know A&M is going to show up, and they're going to play defense. Give me A&M in this one. Can Michigan upset Oregon? Of course they can, but will they is the actual question. When I grade games like this, y'all, I'm looking at teams who can consistently put together wins, no matter if it's by a lot or by a little. Michigan just has not shown me that they are that team. I don't know what their strong point is. I want to say it's defense, but even that looks lackluster in the second half. So I got to go with Oregon. Does the elimination of SEC East-West divisions make it too easy for some teams to go to Atlanta for the SEC championship? No. It makes it harder, as it should be. Now there's a path for just the top 2 teams. You cannot hide in a mediocre division. I remember some years in the East where it was mediocrity up and down, but the top team, hey, they won just enough games to make it to Atlanta, and then they get dusted by the West. Those days are over. It's all about the top 2 teams in the SEC, as it should be. But I do kind of miss divisions. Is Georgia on upset alert versus Florida? No. Now, Florida is a dangerous team, and they are playing better. I gave them their props last week. But Georgia just plays a brand of bully ball that only one team has been able to match over the past 4 seasons in the regular season. I just don't think Florida has the dogs or the Gators to beat Georgia for 4 quarters. It may get close at times, but I think Georgia will eventually run away with it. Will Penn State pull the upset versus Ohio State? Well, first, can you call it an upset? Penn State is undefeated. Ohio State has already lost to a top team in Oregon. They're at Happy Valley in Penn State. It's a home game, so if you really just take the name off the front of the jersey, on paper, Penn State should win this one. But this is usually the time of the year, as I talked about in other videos, where they face the big boys and then they just kind of collapse. Will it be history repeating itself? I think so. Give me the Buckeyes in this one. And the number one question y'all have asked me this week, will Vanderbilt beat Auburn? The game is in Auburn. Everybody knows Vandy beat Alabama. They took Texas to the wire. They're having a great season. Auburn, not so much, even though they did have an impressive double-digit win over Kentucky last week. Listen, my heart is saying Vandy going to anchor down, but Auburn is going to have something to say about this on their home turf. It's a tough place to play. I think they got enough to get it done. I think they've got enough film on Vandy to not take them lightly as other teams have done. So I'll go with Auburn in a close one over Vandy. If you want to get your questions in on the Fanalyst Show, all you got to do is follow me on Instagram or Facebook. I take these questions directly from you guys out of my DMs, okay? So if you want to get your question in, follow your boy, and I would love to hear from you. I will answer to the best of my ability. Comedian FunnyMaine, I am a fan, not an analyst. Fanalyst, let's do it again next week.